I think we all can agree that the Matt Eberflus era in Chicago is over. At 5-21 through his first 26 games as the Chicago Bears head coach, he has the worst head coach winning percentage of any Chicago Bears head coach in franchise history. Think about that. Worse than Mark Trestman and John Fox. And John Fox had a 10 times worse roster with a rookie quarterback in Mitchell Trubisky in his last year, and he still did better than what Matt Eberflus is putting together right now. Bears gave Flus a much better roster this year. Last year, completely different story, understandable, but this year there was much less excuses, and sitting at 2-7 and with the third easiest schedule entering the NFL this season, Flus should have won a few more games by now. It's time to move on, and we got some guys we think are perfect candidates. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Today, I am hitting on two head coaching candidates that the Chicago Bears should consider going after to actually utilize the talent that we currently have and make this a winning culture. I'm going two different routes with each of these coaches, one being a proven head coach in the NFL that can win ball games right out of the gate, and then another one that is the biggest name coordinator in the NFL right now that is going to be a head coach somewhere next season. Jim Harbaugh, former 49ers head coach and current Michigan head coach, is my pick for the experience, and offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, Ben Johnson, is my coordinator of choice if we were to go that route. If you want either of these candidates, please make sure to smash that like button to show that you agree, and throw your thoughts in the comment section below about who you want or if there's someone else that we should consider. So let's start with Jim Harbaugh. Kind of like calling an ex-girlfriend that you miss, Bears have an interesting story with Jim Harbaugh. Harbaugh was the Bears quarterback for 7 years from 1987 to 1993. He was drafted by Chicago in 1987 in the first round out of Michigan. He had some decent years for Chicago, but he was another not the answer quarterback. He also had an interesting relationship with the front office and head coach Mike Ditka, which might have actually helped shape him into the very tough but good coach that he is today. But his head coach experience would be huge for the Chicago Bears. His NFL record as a head coach for the 49ers back in the mid-2010s was 49-22-1, including the playoffs. Harbaugh went to one Super Bowl with the Niners where he lost, but he went to 3 consecutive NFC championships. His first season, he was 13-3, having an immediate impact on the 49ers, who were 6-10 the season before. His next 2 years were 11-4-1 and then 12-4. And his overall team rankings were top-notch. Harbaugh was top 10 across the board on the offensive and defensive side of the ball during his time with the 49ers. So he's not just a one-way minded head coach. He is a true head coach. He's also great at hiring a good staff, having players play for him, and obviously winning games. It wasn't just an NFL thing either. He had great success and is continuing to have that success at Michigan right now. It's hard sometimes to go to a college program and have success right away because those are not the guys that you recruited in yourself with your team. But he turned that around right away and had over a 500 winning record his first season at Michigan, and he's only had one season so far where he hasn't made a bowl and was under 500. He is 80-25 all time as it stands at Michigan right now, currently 9-0 in this current college football season. And minus 2020, again, he's had a winning season every year. He has been in 7 bowl appearances in his 8 completed seasons, looking to make another one at the moment right now with that 9-0 record, and could be going for the college football championship. Overall, you get leadership, you get success on both sides of the ball, you get hiring a good staff, something that Matt Eberflus clearly can't do, bringing in good players who want to play for you, keeping people accountable, and a winning culture. Yeah, I could definitely get behind Jim Harbaugh as our head coach. But let's go to the other guy, Ben Johnson. So this is the new kid on the block that everyone wants to get to know. His success over the last 2 seasons with the Lions puts him in that trend of the young, new-minded coaches. At 37 years old, Johnson does have an impressive resume. He's been an NFL coach since he was 26, so he's been in the NFL for 11 years. Started with Miami, then moved over with a variety of different assistant roles in Miami. Then he came over to the Detroit Lions for the last couple of years, and he's really getting into his groove. From 2019 to now, he's been the offensive quality control coach for the Lions, the tight ends coach for the Lions, passing game coordinator for the Lions, and now this year he took over offensive coordinator, where his stock has absolutely boomed. With Detroit so far this year, they rank number 2 in passing, number 2 in total offensive yards, number 6 in rushing yards, and number 9 in total points scored. Obviously, that's why Detroit is sitting alone at top of the NFC North. So what has made him so good? Well, to start, he does have a lot of weapons, but he's helped develop those weapons during his time with the Lions. But also, he had Jared Goff, who was a good quarterback, but now has gone to the next level and is one of the top 5 passing quarterbacks, in my personal opinion, in the NFL at the moment. He has an effective game plan of how to pick apart each defense every week and out, and he has a great balance of the run versus the pass. And finally, he works around his player strengths. So before I get into what he would do as a head coach for the Chicago Bears, we have a very quick announcement. We would like to congratulate our good friend Eric Kramer on the release of his book. His book, The Ultimate Comeback: Surviving a Suicide Attempt, Conquering Depression, and Living with a Purpose, is now on Amazon. If you have depression, you are not alone. It is also Men's Mental Health Month for November. This was a great time for Eric to release this book about his incredible story of how he overcame a very tough time in his life. And it's an incredible story. I can't suggest it enough for everybody. So make sure that you go to the link in our description to get your copy today. It is already number 1 in 4 different categories across Amazon, and he's just getting started. Congratulations, Eric. You did a fantastic job. So what does Ben Johnson bring as a head coach? Players respect the hell out of Johnson. We all know that, and they want to work in his system. He can bring out the best in his players as he focuses on their strengths versus what he has and what he wants to run. He didn't choose this Detroit offense entirely himself. He was a big part of it, but he's made the entire thing work. With Chicago buying all that they've done over the last offseason and what they're going to do next upcoming offseason as well, you need a head coach like that isn't going to tear this roster apart, work with what he has, and make them go to their strengths. And also, you might not like him anymore, but Dave Montgomery loves Ben Johnson. Dave Montgomery is really good friends with a lot of guys on these roster, and he'll talk to them and let them know, hey, you're getting a good one in Ben Johnson. Put your thoughts in the comments section below. Would love to hear them. But with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, and as always, bear down.